Well, hey everyone. I'm here a little bit early because I know there are a lot of people wanting to join. I've had a lot of people text me, asking me questions about is it Eastern time, is it Central time, all those things. So I wanted to get on and give people a chance to get on here because I know, it pops up, it'll be live, and then it's like, okay, slowly but surely people start popping on. So I just see someone here just popped on. Hey, Karen. Thank you for joining me. There's a couple more people on, but the way it's set up here now, you can't see who's here. Now, I want to ask a question for you early birds. Can you see me well? I know it's night, and so my kitchen is not as bright as it usually is. I do have a light. Let me see what that does when I turn that on. Does that help? I don't think it does. I think it just creates shadows. So let me just turn that light off. And so there's some more folks jumping on. I'm not cooking tonight. I didn't cook tonight. What did I have? Oh, I went by Subway, and this isn't an ad for Subway, but I do like their tuna salad. So I got the bowl, and I got, all the veggies on the bottom, and I got, some people like that too. And I got, they put so much tuna on there. I mean, I think it was over a cup of tuna salad. And I can tell from it that it's a lot of tuna. In fact, I got one big hunk of tuna, but that's okay with me. It's not something I eat a lot, but I did work today, and I knew I was going to be doing this. So I kind of warned my husband. I said, okay, not doing dinner tonight. I'm going to pick up something. And so he was good with that. He's always just thankful for whatever he can get. And so I had made, the last 2 nights I had made chicken dishes. And he's like, they're not my favorite. I said, I could tell they weren't your fave. I'm kind of one of those cooks. Good. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for letting me know. Hey, okay, so we got 2 Karens. We got a Char. I guess that's how you say it, Char or Char. We got Mary Louise. We got, so tell me where you're watching from. Carolyn, thank you for joining me. I'm going to wait just a couple more minutes because it's not 8:30 yet. And I had, made the announcement that we were going to start at 8:30. So because you're here and you're early, I'm going to give you a couple of little bonus tips, okay? All right, this is one, and I don't mean to start off with something like TMI, but here, because it's just sitting right here, I want to show you something. Okay, so I have, and by the way, I'm Dr. Nancy Stanley. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. I've been doing this for about 9 years, and actually, I think maybe this month is the 9th anniversary. Yes, it's the 9th anniversary of me doing this coaching. And anyway, but this is to totally change the subject now. I suffer from, from Tifton. Awesome. Okay, not too far away. From Charlotte. Hello, Karen. I've got a lot of special people up in Charlotte. My brother's 6 kids live in that area, and I just got a text before I got on here that one of them is coming down here to Georgia to visit and wants to know if we can have coffee. I'm like, of course we can, Abigail. I love you. So, hey, from St. Petersburg, Florida. Seems like I got a little, excuse me, sniffy nose, something. But okay, so I digress. All right, here we go. I want to talk about constipation, and you're like, well, that's one of the side effects of menopause and aging. And honestly, for me, hey, Linda, it's one of the things I won't say suffered with, but dealt with. I'm kind of, you'll find out if you get in my program or you're around me very much. I don't like to say negative words. I don't like to say words like, I'm so stressed. I don't use the word stressed ever. I mean, if I do, it's a very rare occasion, okay? I don't say the words anxiety. I'm so anxious. I don't say negative words, all right? But So I will just say that I dealt with chronic constipation, and this has been my lifesaver. It's magnesium oxide, and there is one that's a little more expensive. It's called, hold on a minute, and I'll think about it, Oxy Powder. And it's about $40, I think, a bottle. And I was using that for 2 or 3 months. And then I got to looking at the ingredients, which I want to encourage you to learn how to do. Read your ingredients, because just like Excedrin for migraines, if you flip it over and read it, it's probably just going to have a little more caffeine in it. You just need to learn how to read your labels, and you'll save yourself a lot of money at the store, especially buying things that have a lot of toxicity in them. All right, but I like these the best. These are actually capsules, and they're pretty big. But if I take 2, sometimes 3 of those every other day, and I do eat fiber, I do exercise, I do all of that, but something about my digestive system, it just doesn't move through. It moves through my gut, but in my lower bowel, it just doesn't, I can't get it out unless it's softer. And so when I do that, I have a normal bowel movement. And a normal bowel movement, let me just describe that for you, and then we'll move on, because it is 8:30. A normal bowel movement is when your bowel movement is about the size of a cigar, and it's long and straight. It's not knobby, it's not pebbles, it's not too loose, it doesn't float. It just, you dump it and it sinks to the bottom. That is a normal bowel movement, just so you know. And I regularly have a stool specimen done, just had that done. There's nothing wrong with my gut system. Although if I do eat gluten and other things, I do notice, I do have some bloating. But as long as I'm eating clean and I'm exercising, I'm drinking my water, which, by the way, I think I'll take a sip right now. You see, I color-coded my water bottle. I'm kidding. I am not that, I'm not that much into the detail. In fact, y'all, I got my jeans on under my lab coat. So you might be saying, well, why you got the lab coat on? Well, I'm not doing it to impress you, but to impress upon you that I am an expert, all right? And what makes me an expert? Well, first of all, I've been doing this for 9 years, and I've helped 2,000 people, over 2,000 people, drop weight, get healthy, come off their medicines, reverse their diabetes, get stronger, all of those. So drink water and move the poop. I drink plenty of water, but yes, you definitely need to drink water, and you need to have some fiber, but there are also some people that, there's just an issue there. So if I do this, I go regularly. So that was a freebie because you got on here early and you watched it. All right, so here we go. Okay, so let me just start from the top. I am so excited to have you here tonight. And this is the first of 3 days of training. Hey, Teresa, good to see you too. So several of my clients are on here, which I love that. Okay, so tonight at 8:30, tomorrow night at 8:30, and God willing, Thursday night at 8:30. Wednesday night's my Bible study night, and I thought about doing it that night, but I'm like, no, that'll push me, and I don't want to bump that out of the way, and I'll give you a little time to take a little break and process some of what I've been saying, and then on Thursday night, I'll do it again. So this is training, all right, and it's not my typical cooking demos, but it's to give you an idea of what's available and what's your opportunity and what's the opportunity that's coming down the pike, all right? So I'm so excited to share this with you tonight. This is an amazing opportunity that you're going to be embarking on to learn. It's what we don't know that hurts us. Like, I didn't know when I started this about 15 years ago, I thought whole wheat bread was good. And little did I know that the gluten was toxic to my gut and can cause leaky gut, irritable bowel, so, but if you're struggling, so this is for you, if you're struggling with weight loss, this is what I hear every day. I'm struggling to lose this weight. I'm getting weaker, okay? I don't feel strong. I have arthritis. I have painful joints. I have stiff shoulders. I can't really exercise. I can't get down on the floor. I can't get up. I'm pre-diabetic or I'm diabetic. And just, you know, I have gut issues. I have, you know, all the list goes on and on and on, okay? I'm losing my hair. I'm having hot flashes, all these things. Well, I'm not here to cure all of that, but I'm here to give you a solution to get to the root cause of it. And I'm just going to tell you that, you know, cravings is one of those things, those achy joints, sleeplessness. I was talking to somebody today, and they were saying they sleep about 2 to 3 hours a night. Well, that is very dangerous. I mean, most physicians, doctors, holistic people will tell you sleep is the most important hack. And if you can work on that and get your sleep better, you're going to really go a long way toward getting better. And we can talk about that on another night. That's not what we're talking about tonight. But I want to tell you there is a way to lose the weight and begin to shift your body to get rid of that fat around the middle and those cravings. So that's what we're talking about tonight. We're not going to talk tonight very much about strength training and all the other things. We're really going to talk about weight loss because that's usually at the top of the list. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna tell you the secret, okay? And it's simpler than you think, all right? And here's how I know it's the secret. Because every woman I've ever coached that was successful at dropping the weight, whether it's 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 65, 100 pounds, and I've had all of those, they address this one issue. Well, not just one, but this was the main issue. And it is insulin resistance, okay? And you think, well, I've been hearing that word a lot. You know, 10 years ago, I didn't even know what that word was. But I know what it is now, and the reason I know is because if you have fat around the middle and your A1C is creeping up, then you are resistant to insulin, okay? So I want to tell you really quickly. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Nancy Stanley. I have a doctorate from Boston University in physical therapy, health, and wellness, and I have spent the last, let's say, 15 years studying weight loss. And I've helped, and the science behind it, not just weight loss, but the science behind it, and it is a science. And I've helped over, I'd say, 2,000 people drop 15, 20, 30 or more pounds. But more than that, I've helped them get their life back and to learn how to think about food, how to relate to food, how to stop the yo-yo, how to embrace food as fuel rather than something to comfort you. And I've heard all the stories about why you can't quit this and why you have to have that and all that. But my slogan is change your story, change your body, and change your life. So if you'll change your story, and here's what that story is for most people. This little bit won't hurt. I'll start tomorrow. That's the main two. And then I hear, well, my mama was diabetic. My whole family has heart disease. It's my birthday. It's our anniversary. I mean, on and on and on and on. And so to change the outcome of your life, you have to change that story, and that's what's going on in your head. So that's where we start, okay? We start with that. But with a strategy, that's part of the strategy, and there's quite a few steps to the strategy, but with a strategy and a plan that works, you can do this. You can do it. And you may have tried everything, all right? But I just want you to know I've never had anyone in all these years and all these people that they applied the principles and they worked the plan, they lost weight, and then more than that, they gained strength and all that. But that's for another day. Okay. So like I said, the first key is insulin resistance, and we'll in the program, you'll learn exactly what to do. You'll never wonder again, how do I get my blood sugar down? How do I come off of my diabetes medicine? I've seen it over and over. And when you come off the diabetes medicine, then you come off the blood pressure medicine, and then, it just goes from there. So you may be thinking, well, I've tried all of that before. I've done the keto. I've done the low carb. I've done the working out hard at the gym. I've done it all. And I'm like, and here's what I would say to you. I hear you. But what if I told you that it's not those drastic changes, although for some people it is drastic. If you're eating chips every night and Meliella and pizza and all those unhealthy things, sandwiches 2 or 3 times a day, potatoes, all that, then it will be drastic. But you probably need something drastic if you're dealing with diabetes and rheumatoid arthritis and all the things that come from unhealthy foods, okay? And don't hear me saying that rheumatoid arthritis is all curable, but I have seen it reversed in so many of my clients that it makes me believe. I mean, I'm kind of like, the proof's in the pudding. If every person I've ever signed up into my program has come off of their rheumatoid arthritis medicine, or at least brought it way down, then wouldn't you think? I mean, let's put 2 and 2 together, right? Okay, so I'm here as a guide for you. That's what I do in the program in the 90 days. Is I've stepped on those landmines. I know what they are, and I've helped other people avoid the landmines. And that's what I want to do for you, because the last thing I want for you is a failure. Because a failure could mean you go back to all of those unhealthy habits, and you get sicker as you get older. Life doesn't get easier as we get older. Now we might unload some of the things of life that are more difficult, but I'm telling you, I'm 69 years old in a week, and it gets harder to fight for your health. But it's worth doing, because as a physical therapist, every time I work, I see people that have let their health go, and now they find themselves with a hip fracture, or having to move in with their kids, or they're having to go to assisted living or go to a nursing home. And a few choices 10 years before could have avoided that. They could have stayed in their own home, okay? So if you change your story, you change your body, you change your life. So it's not about how do I do it at the beginning, it's why would you do it? And that's the part I want to encourage you with. So just wanting to lose weight and be skinnier, that's not enough. That won't keep you. And how do I know that? I've seen it over and over and over again. But the people that have a real why, maybe they've had a stroke, or maybe they've had a heart attack, or maybe they've broken a hip or had a knee replacement, or missed out on some event because they just weren't able to go because they couldn't maneuver and they couldn't keep up. Well, that is a why. The why is, I want to keep up. I want to stay in life. I want to live alone. or with my spouse. I want to be independent. I don't want somebody else having to go to the grocery store for me. I want to be able to do those things myself. I want to be able to cook. I want to be able to enjoy life. I want to be able to travel. Whatever your why is, you've got to secure it. And that's what we do at the beginning of the program, as we talk about, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Okay, so I told you I was going to tell you a little bit more about insulin resistance. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got my little friend here, all right? So this is a cell in your body, and there are millions of them, okay? And so inside the cell, if I were to open up the cell or look inside there, so you've got the cell wall, that's what's on the outside here. And it's permeable, to certain things. It lets certain things in, it keeps certain things out, it pushes other things out. But inside is your mitochondria, all right? So just think about it. It's the engine, it's the battery, it's what takes in the glucose from the foods that you eat and turns it into energy, all right? And it puts it out into your body. Okay, so when you eat food, any food, except fat, I guess, fat, some protein, but not fat, but any food, especially carbs, all of that goes into your body, into your digestive system, and it stimulates, that turns to sugar, okay, and it stimulates your pancreas to release insulin. You've heard that word, insulin. And you can't live without insulin. That's why type 1 diabetics have to be on insulin if they're eating any carbs. Now, I do have some type 1 diabetics that have come off of their pump because they cut way back on their carbs. So it is possible, but it's not too probable. So we won't go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, so here's your cell. And so when you eat, your body is going to turn that fuel into glucose. And as soon as your pancreas, that blood comes through your pancreas and it picks up on that extra sugar, it releases insulin. So when you drink your coffee with sugar or whatever you put in your coffee that's sweetener, if it's a sweetener, it's got carbs in it, your insulin goes up. And it probably goes up to your blood sugar, not your insulin. Your blood sugar goes up to 120, and your body's like, insulin, so it releases it. And that insulin floats through your blood vessels, and this little thing right here is a receptor, all right? And the insulin comes along, and it attaches to that receptor. And that receptor opens up the cell and allows that sugar, it opens up the wall and allows that sugar, glucose in the blood, to go into the cell. And that's where the energy is made. So if you don't have energy, if you're feeling tired and listless, that's one of the reasons is your body, these cells have become resistant to the insulin. So too much insulin over 8 or 10 years. Sometimes it takes that long, but you see people gaining weight around the middle, gaining. Their hemoglobin A1C might not go up, but their insulin levels go up. So that's what you need to be asking your doctor about. And we talk about that a lot more in the program. But what's happened is all of that insulin floating along has made these receptor cells, there might as well not even be there. And so that's why your insulin levels will be elevated. The insulin doesn't do the job that it was created to do, and you become resistant to insulin. And that's why you gain weight, because insulin is a fat-storing hormone. So that's what we learn at the very get-go of this program, is how to get that insulin level down. And it's hard, but it's not complicated. It's really simple. But let me tell you what's hard. What is hard is diabetes, losing your vision. Just today I had 2 people with diabetic neuropathies in their legs, and one guy, he's at risk of losing his foot. And you just don't want to be there, okay? And it's easily prevented. Let me take that back. It's not easily prevented because it's such a change probably from what you're used to, because you're used to getting up and eating, maybe a waffle for breakfast or a sausage egg biscuit or, food that's a lot of carbs. And all day long, your body's dumping insulin, but at a certain point in time, your body's not able to process all that sugar, all those carbs, okay? So tomorrow night, like I told you, I'm going to talk about this. What is this? What does this mean? And you'll understand a little bit more about why your body is gaining weight. Okay, so I want to get over here, and I'm going to end up with this. Okay, so I'm about done. I don't want to go too long here. And I know that's backwards. I don't know how I can, well, let me unplug here. I just thought about it. Here's how I can do it. I can turn around, and I can flip the camera because I want you to see. All right, there we go. I used to know how to punch on here and get it to do different, but I'll have to research it. All right, so here's what I want to talk about. I want to finish with this, all right? The 3 fatal F's for females over 55. So a lot of F's there, okay? Number 1 is frailty. And you might say, well, what does frailty mean? Well, frailty, let me flip this back. Frailty is when you're not eating good food, you can't get to good food, or maybe you just, you've lost your muscle in your body, you're shuffling around the house, maybe you lost a loved one, a spouse or something, you're grieving, and so you're not hungry, and so you're not getting in the nutrition that you need, and your body becomes frail. All right, that's frailty. The second F is, and you can write these down, is falls. And that's why Medicare, on our notes as physical therapists, we have to document about falls. And they'll pay for more therapy if you've had a fall. I'm just going to tell you that. But you don't want to have a fall, because a fall leads to fractures, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, wrist. And then what happens, let me do this. What happens is those fractures lead back to frailty because you're in pain, you don't want to eat, and then frailty. So it's like a vicious cycle. And let me give you a statistic. All right. The survival rate from a fracture after 70 is 35% in the first year. That's not a very good statistic. It's not a statistic. I want to be one of those. I don't want to have a fracture. So just this morning, I heard someone say, I tripped over the dog. And I hear that all the time. I tripped over the dog. I tripped over the cat. I tripped on the rug. You got to get rid, well, you can't get rid of your pets. I know that. But you got to train them. You got to have the lights on. You got to know what's going on, because a fall at our age, I'm 69, is not a good thing. We want to be, you got to be careful, and you got to, I don't know how you're going to answer that question, but I know a couple of times my daughter's dog, I was running in the driveway, and he would just cut between me. He's a shepherd, so they like to cut, and so we almost had a collision. Well, we did have a collision, but thankfully I didn't fall. Okay, so if you have questions, I think there's a place for questions. There was a little option, so put your questions there, and I think when we're done, I'll be able to answer your questions. But if not, I will definitely answer your questions after I get done. But I don't see any place now. So I appreciate you joining me. Tomorrow night at 8:30, I'm going to go a little bit more into how we're going to lose weight. I'm going to begin talking more about strength training and the importance of that. I've got a graph I'm going to show you, so a lot more, but I'll also answer some of your questions if you post them here. So if you're in my group and you're watching, I'd love it if you just put a positive comment, how wonderful I am. No, seriously, what you have gotten from the program, okay? And I'm looking for one of y'all or two of y'all or three of y'all tomorrow night or Thursday night to join me. because I can actually add you and have you come on, and we'll be over or beside each other, and we'll do a little. Okay, so all right, I do see a question. I see Karen asking thank you or saying thank you so much. All right, so here it is. I got this at CVS. This is magnesium oxide, and this is Nature's Bounty. And they actually had a buy two, get one free. So that was good. I think this was $14. But I did have that bottle of that Oxy powder, but I don't have it anymore. But so one of the things we talk about a good bit in the program is supplements and what you need to take. And so I don't really have time to go into all that because that's another whole thing. But I do, so if you think, okay, so replied to Karen, body totally changed at 64. Let's see if I can see it. Lost weight, lost all muscle. Oh no. Okay, here we go. Lost all your muscle. All right, well that is one thing we work on, is getting stronger, and I really, really, really push that to my clients. I have learned so much. Let's see. Here's Billy. I have learned so much from you during the first month on your program. Yes, and I have been so delighted, Billy, to have you in my program. Just finding you. So happy, excited for tomorrow night. Okay, Denise, thank you. Hey, check your direct message. That's me. Okay, I'm responding. Okay, so, so just keep coming tomorrow night. Check your email. If I don't have your email, let me know. Just put in the comments email, or you could put info, and you might automatically get something. But if not, I'll put a link in the comments that actually that link will add you to my email list. But you'll have to put your email in, and then it'll actually send you a free training on why you have cravings and fat around the middle, which is good. Okay. What size weights do you use? Okay, Tony, I use 15 and 20, but that's not what, if you're just starting, that is not what you're going to start with. And I never plan to pitch this, but I do have a three video workouts that you can get for $7. Is that something you're interested in? Then you just need to put, what is it? Maybe exercise, and I can send it. Okay, hey Shelly, you just found me today. Okay, you're the second one that just found me. Well, I'm getting found. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, well, I'm so glad we had a chance to talk, and I just want you to know that we're all created in the image of God, and we can be strong. We don't have to fall off the cliff at 70 like we're just shuffling around. We can be strong. I can do a handstand right now, and I might even do one tomorrow night, maybe. But I'm not saying that to impress you, but to impress upon you that if I can do it, you can do it too. At 65, I'm 69. At 65, I had a major surgery, and I was almost on my back for 12 weeks. And at the end of that, it just was a wake-up call to me, because I couldn't lift anything. And I love to work in the yard. I like to carry my own fertilizer. I like to do all that. And I was like, Nancy, you got to get your butt in gear and get strong. And I started lifting again. And now I'm stronger than I was then. And I was a body pump instructor for a while, but all that went away when I had the surgery. And here's what I'm going to say. If I'd have been 55 when I had that surgery, I wouldn't have lost all that strength. But you lose more strength after 60. It's like it goes away. You lose muscle rapidly. And so that's what we're going to do in the program. We're going to gain our muscle back. We're going to get our strength. The other thing I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to make myself a note, is balance. I got to write it on this. I got to write it on here, because that's why we have those falls. So I'm going to write it on here as a reminder to me to talk about balance. And I think there was one more thing I said I was going to talk about. Well, I know some of the things. Definitely strength training, how much weight to use and all that. But we're not. I can't get into the weeds, all right? But thank y'all for joining me. Let's see if there are any more questions or comments on here. Sometimes, okay. Teresa's saying, the one thing I love about Nancy is that she cares about and wants to help you. Yes, yes, yes. I do. I'd love to have every one of you in my group. Thank you for the encouragement. Hey, Nelda. Will your program work for vegetarians? Yes, it will. It certainly will. You won't be able to eat all of the rice and bread that maybe you've been eating. Okay, that's typically the problem with vegetarian. Well, I won't say the problem. I want to say it's more the opportunity. I have had several vegetarians in my program. It may be a little more challenging to get your protein, but there are definitely ways to do it. I mean, one of the doctors that I follow, she's vegetarian, and oh my gosh, she's so ripped and strong and all that. So we can get on the phone and talk about it. So let's see. Thank you. Okay, a lot of folks. Okay, I don't see anymore. Okay, I got to go to bed because I got to get up and be at work at 8 in the morning. But I will see y'all tomorrow evening at 8:30. Share this video with a friend and get them to watch it. So it will be here on my channel for about 30 days, and then Facebook takes it down. But I'm probably going to send out an email tomorrow. I can upload this video to my YouTube channel, which, by the way, if you want to check out my YouTube channel, Dr. Nancy Stanley, is there, and there's over 250, 300 videos on there, cooking demos, just a lot of coaching information on there. So y'all have a great day. I'd love to stay on here longer, but I need to get in there and get into bed and get ready for tomorrow. But y'all have a great night, and God bless you.